This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. A Spanish journalist who reported from Nagorno-Karabakh during the 2020 war appears actually to have been a Russian spy, using his work as cover. Pablo Gonzalez, born in Moscow as Pavel Ruptly, was one of 8 people returned to Russia from US and other Western prisons earlier this month as part of a historic prisoner exchange deal. Gonzalez, a dual Russian and Spanish citizen, had been arrested in Poland in early 2022 and had been held there without charges until he and other alleged Russian spies and assassins were exchanged for 16 Western journalists and Russian dissidents. Poland had initially accused Gonzalez of working as a Russian intelligence agent who fostered ties with Russian opposition figures and passed information about them on to Moscow, as reported earlier this week by the independent Russian outlet Meduza. His inclusion in the prisoner swap appears to confirm those suspicions. Gonzalez was in the Karabakh town of Martuni on October 1st, 2020, when 2 journalists from the French newspaper Le Monde were wounded by shrapnel. Gonzalez helped lift the more seriously injured one and took him to the hospital, which doctors later said saved his life. Gonzalez also documented the October 8th shelling of Razanchetsot's cathedral in Shushi, and his photos of the damage still appear on the Armenian Foreign Ministry's website. Later that month, Gonzalez conducted a one-on-one, sit-down interview with Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, asking him about the role Moscow was playing in the ongoing war. Read CivilNet's latest deep dive breaking down how the leading candidates in November's US presidential election stand on Armenian issues, and what that could mean for Armenia. Republican candidate and former President Donald Trump is perhaps most notable for leading the country during the devastating 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh war. Under Trump, the United States took a passive position and did little to mediate an end to the conflict, beyond lukewarm condemnations and two-sided calls to cease hostilities. In addition, the Trump administration made repeated efforts to block U.S. aid to Karabakh, ultimately cutting off all humanitarian aid and defunding demining efforts. Trump also broke years of precedent of maintaining equal military aid to Armenia and Azerbaijan by boosting Azerbaijan's funding to more than $100 million, while requesting reductions in aid to Armenia. What's more, the Trump administration actively fought against Armenian genocide recognition efforts. On 3 separate occasions, individual Republican senators each blocked a recognition bill from consideration at Trump's request, before it was eventually passed in December 2019. As for the Democratic candidate, Vice President Kamala Harris has a strong record on Armenian genocide recognition, including making social media posts commemorating the April 24th Remembrance Day and co-sponsoring the 2019 Senate resolution to recognize it. She also signed letters supporting demining efforts in Nagorno-Karabakh after the Trump administration cut that program. She is part of the Biden administration, which became the first to formally recognize the Armenian genocide in 2021, though Biden's White House has also gotten criticism for appearing to stand idly by during the ethnic cleansing of Nagorno-Karabakh last September. Both the Biden and Trump administrations permitted foreign aid to be sent to Azerbaijan by waiving Section 907, a U.S. legal provision that bans such aid. The United States has made significant efforts to deepen relations with Armenia under Biden, showing increased interest in the energy, economic, and defense sectors particularly. As a former senator from California, Harris has been in a position to be more aware and connected to the state's large Armenian American community. A Harris administration is expected to keep with current U.S. policy to Armenia, while Trump is much harder to predict. There are large Armenian American communities in important swing states like Michigan and Pennsylvania, making the candidate's policies on Armenian issues particularly important. You can read the full article on our website, linked below. In our newest episode of Mindful Leaders, we are joined by Sona Tatoyan, writer, actress, producer, and founder of Hakawati, a storytelling medium that raises the voices of frontline and marginalized communities. The discussion explores her motivations as a storyteller, scriptwriter, producer, and actor, the importance of authenticity, and the inspiration she draws from her roots. Find the link in the description. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 5,207. That's the number of Armenians living in Russia's Kursk region, according to the country's latest census. Ukrainian forces launched an unprecedented incursion in Kursk last week that as of today remains ongoing. The Armenian government has so far not indicated publicly if it would assist in efforts to evacuate Armenian citizens or ethnic Armenians from Kursk or other border areas if clashes continue to escalate. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.